Hello students. Now we are going to discuss the revision class for the chapter number 4. So that is ethical issues in engineering practice, which is there for the 4 semester electronics and communication and electronic instrumentation and control engineering. The name of the course is Professional Ethics and Indian Constitution. The chapter carries a total 15 marks, and the maximum hours allocated for the chapter is 6 hours. So myself Vijay Huggi, lecturer in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, so SJP Interest Polytechnic, so Netsoshi. So ethical issues is basically a problem or situation that requires a person or organization to choose between alternatives that must be evaluated as right or wrong. So that is the meaning of ethical issues. So let us start with the concept. So whatever the question I have listed here, so these are from the question banks which are given in the syllabus copy after each and every chapter here, and I have tried to solve all the question with the possible solutions here. So let us start with the first question. So the name of the question is explain environmental ethics, or what are the duties of an engineer as experimenter in environmental ethics, or list any 10 environmental ethical issues. So the different way of asking the question I have shown here. So if they ask what are explain environmental ethics, or what are the duties of an engineer as experimenter in environmental ethics, it means the same, and the answer will remain same here. So this question it may be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks, and so far this question has repeated twice in the semester end exam, that I have marked as a star mark there, that the star indicates the number of times the question is repeated in the semester end exam. So let us discuss the first question. So we can define environmental ethics as the it concerned with the ways human interact with the environment. So, the emergence of environmental ethics is due to the increasing awareness in the 1960s of the effects that technology, industry, and population growth were having on the environment. So, the different uh, examples for environmental ethics are, so the water and air pollution, so depletion of natural resources, loss of biodiversity, destruction of ecosystem, and global climate change are all part of the environmental ethics. So engineers in the past are known for their negligence of environment in their activities. So now it has become important that engineers design eco-friendly tools, machines, process and projects. So it is this environmental ethics, this is well applicable for the engineering graduates, because as an engineering student, as a technical student, and after the completion of your courses or degrees, so if you start your own firms or industry or any organization, so you need to think regarding the environmental factors or environmental ethics. As an engineer, you have to think that before releasing any machine or before designing any machine, so we need to think whether it is eco-friendly or no. So because in the past we have seen most of the engineers, they are what, they are neglecting the environment, so in their activities. So now it is what important thing for everyone, not only for engineer, even for a normal person. But as an engineer you have what more responsibility to produce the eco-friendly tools or machines or process or projects here. So these are all, these are essential because to ensure protection to the environment, then to prevent the degradation of environment, then slow down the exploitation of the natural resources, so that the future generation can survive. Second question: how the plastic waste disposal create havocs? So this is a simple and general question. So this may be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks. So far this is repeated twice in the semester and exam. So and depending on the marks you have to write the answer here. Regarding the plastic waste or disposal, you can write so many things, but before writing the answer you focus, or you see the marks, for how many marks it is asked, and you write the answer here. So in general, what we can write here is, in our country several crores of plastic bottles are used as containers for water and oil, and plastic bags are used to pack different materials ranging from vegetables to gold ornaments. Hardly any of these are recycled. They end up in gutters, roadsides, and agricultural fields. So wherever you go, you find a plastic. So maybe in a shop, or you go to a temple, or you go to agricultural field, or you go to a mall. So everywhere you find a plastic, right? If you buy anything, right, they give in a plastic. If you ask for a water, they give a water bottle, right? Again it is coated with a plastic. If you ask for oil, right, they'll give the plastic. If you ask for ornament, right, everything is packed with the plastic here. So right, we cannot say we should not use plastic, right? But as a responsible citizen, so it is our duty to minimize the usage of plastic. So right, whenever you are going outside, you carry your own bags. So right, so that you can reduce the number of plastics here. So the main thing is what we use plastic, but we will not recycle it properly. So that is the problem. The developing countries like India and all these are what these are facing. So after using the plastic, so a proper method has to be there to recycle it. So instead of that, what we do is we throw the plastic outside. So either they end up in a gutters or somewhere, and when there is a heavy rain, so the gutters will block, and the water will, right, they'll move into the house here, right? Even in the, if you go to the temples, what we do is, the camphor, it is what it is, coated with the plastic, right? And instead of putting a camphor into the fire, so we put the whole plastic into the fire itself. So that creates air pollution. So all this has to be avoided here. And so in all these destinations, they have created havoc in the sense what, it is a situation in which there is much destruction. So the worst still is the burning of plastic materials in streets, and camphor along with plastic cover in the temples. So since they release toxic fumes and threaten seriously the air quality, so it is the duty of the government or the local administration to act on this. And even it is the duty of every citizen, right, in order to use less plastic, and we have to collect it, and we have to arrange for recycling through industries. So next question, list the ill effects of e-waste disposal on environment. Again, this is what the general question. So this can be asked for 5 or 10 marks. Again, I told that depending on the marks you write the answer. So this question is repeated once in the semester and exam. The term e-waste applies to consumer and business electronic equipment that is near or at the end of its useful life, right? If you are using a mobile, suppose if it is nearing its end life, and without using, if you keep it at home or if you throw it outside, it becomes a e-waste. So there are so many examples of e-waste here. So the e-waste products contain heavy metals like cadmium, lead, copper, chromium, that can contaminate the environment. So the different examples of e-waste are TVs, computer monitors, scanner, printers, keyboards, cables, circuit boards, calculators, digital cameras, radios, DVD players, MP3 and CD players, CRT, etc. So the list will go on; it will never end. So because you won't find a home without any electronic gadgets or electronic devices or electronic equipment. So 50% of the equipments or gadgets what we find at home, so they are what, they are electronic based, and after using for certain years, so we will not use, just we throw it outside or we will keep it at home. So that becomes what, e-waste. So one of the fastest growing manufacturing industries in India as well as the world is the production of electrical and electronic instruments. So and as its production grows, the creation of even e-waste also increases. So India ranks as high as a major producer of e-waste globally. So that is the problem what the developing countries like India they are facing, right? Because the creation of e-waste is more, and we don't find proper method to dispose the e-waste. If the e-waste is not disposed in time, it will be easily lead to a very grave situation for the current country. A grave situation means very tough situation for the country. So we'll discuss some of the e-waste disposal methods that are observed in India. So they are what? Recycling of e-waste. Basically, recycling means a huge variety of products can come under this possibility, under the possibility of recycling, such as monitors, keyboards, laptops, mobiles, etc. So toxic substances like cadmium, lead are contained in the electronic equipment, which if you thrown away without being recycled can leak into the environment, leading to contamination. It can also cause diseases such as nervous system damage of the heart, kidney, liver, skin and bone diseases. So second one is landfill. So landfill is what? One of the method of e-waste disposal in India. So but it creates causes serious threats to the environment. So landfill means basically what they do is they dig like a well, and they are going to dump all the e-waste into the well. So even that creates that will threat the environment. That is not the modern technology or the modern method of recycling the e-waste. And third one is incineration. So basically it is a method where the waste material is burned in a specially designed incinerators at a very high temperature. It reduces the e-waste volume and reduces environmentally hazardous substances. Then fourth one is reusing of e-waste. So in order to reduce the volume of e-waste generation, reusing of equipment after little modification is a method of waste disposal in India. So right, next we are going to discuss the question number 4, that is discuss on industrial waste disposal creating disasters on the environment. As we have gone through the plastic waste, e-waste, now there is what? Industrial waste disposal. So the industrial waste is the waste produced by the industrial activity during manufacturing process, such that of factories, mills and mining operation. So any waste which is coming from the industries, right, we call it as what? Industrial waste. So thousands of small scale and bigger industrial units, simply what they do is they dump their waste, more often the toxic and hazardous, in the open spaces and nearby water sources. So rapid industrialization has resulted in the generation of huge quantity of waste, both solid and liquid, in industrial sectors such as sugar, distilleries, dairies, etc. So these waste they generally dumped on land or discharged into the water bodies without adequate treatment, and it thus becomes a large source of environmental pollution and health hazard. So typical industrial waste disposal methods includes incineration, land disposal and underground injection wells. So we can classify the industrial waste into two types. So that is hazardous industrial waste and non-hazardous industrial waste. So hazardous waste which may be in the solid or liquid or gaseous form, so may cause danger to health or environment. So it is assumed that about 10 to 15% of waste produced by the industries are hazardous, and the generation of the hazardous waste is increasing rapidly, so at the rate of 2 to 5% per year. So hazardous waste mainly includes the products that are explosive, flammable, irritant, harmful, toxic, corrosive, infectious, etc. Corrosive means it causes damage to the metal or materials through some chemical processes. That is what? Corrosive. So second type is non-hazardous industrial waste. So non-hazardous industrial waste is generated by the industrial activities, but it is similar to that of household waste by its nature. So it is not so toxic, and which presents no hazard, and it doesn't require any treatment. So next concept is explain human centered environmental ethics. So this question may be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks, and this is repeated once in the semester and exam. So let us discuss the in human centered environmental ethics, human have greater intrinsic value than nature. So basically, the moral relationship between the humans and the environment is framed by the human needs first. So therefore, in a human-centered approach to environmental ethics, the human have got more intrinsic value than the nature. So according to this, humans can enjoy nature as from seeing waterfalls, snow-clad mountains, enjoy nature through mountaineering, sports and scientific interest to explore into the nature. So according to this approach, human relationship with nature is defined by the needs of our species. Human life have got more intrinsic value, and the preservation of human life is always a moral one. So next question is name the different types of problems in computer ethics, or the question may be asked like this: explain the role of computer as the instrument of unethical act, and explain the role of computers as the object of unethical act. So they can ask separately here, explain the role of computers as instrument of unethical act. They can ask this as a separate question, or they may ask explain the role of computers as object of unethical act. Or if they ask what are the different types of problems in computer ethics, you have to explain both, as instrument, as object. So first we are going to discuss the computer as the instrument of unethical act. So the first one is the usage of computer replaces the job position. So this has been overcome to a large extent by readjusting work assignments and training everyone on computer application such as word processing, editing and graphics. Second, breaking the privacy. So that is, information or data of the individuals can be easily accessed, erased, or ownership can be changed. And third one is defraud a bank or a client by accessing and withdrawing money from others bank account. These cases you might have seen nowadays, see in the newspaper or in the news. So right, they defraud a bank or a client, and they access the money from the other's bank account, right, without having without the permission of the concerned person. So next, computer as the object of unethical act. So under this there are 3 points. First one is hacking, second spreading virus, third one is health hazard. So hacking means what? The software is stolen or information is accessed from other computers. This may cause financial loss to the business or violation of privacy rights of the individuals or business. So the person who is going to involve in the hacking, so he is called a hacker. Okay. Second, spreading virus. So through mail or message, the virus is intentionally allowed to spread, causing loss of business, or contents can be changed or erased. So spreading virus causes financial loss for or mental torture to the individuals. So these acts are certainly, they are what, unethical. So for example, I can say the Trojan horses. The name of the virus is Trojan horses. If they are implanted on the system, they are going to distort the messages and the files beyond recovery. And third one is health hazard. So the computers pose threat during their use as well as during disposal. That means, so during use, you face a problem with the computer. That is, you'll get eye pain, you get back pain, wrist pain, right, you get a mental torture like thing, right. And during dispose, as it is a e-waste, if you throw it outside, so even that will threat the environment. So next question is define computer ethics. List the issues in computer ethics, or list the ethical problems by computers in workplace. First, I am going to define what is computer ethics. So computer ethics is defined as the study and analysis of nature and social impact of computer technology. So the different types of problems um, by computers in workplace. I told the question, there are two questions here: list the issues in computer ethics, or they can ask list the ethical problems by computers in workplace. So first point is elimination of routine and manual jobs. So this leads to unemployment, but the IT jobs are created for the people. So initially this may require some skills and knowledge, but through training the problem can be solved. For example, in case of a typist, so previously we used to find a typist to type a document. So now we have a programmer who is going to write a program for different projects. Second, health and safety. The ill effects due to electromagnetic radiation, especially on pregnant women, which cause mental stress, wrist problems, back pain, eye strain due to poor lighting and flickers in the display, and long exposure. These are creating huge problems for the health and safety of the people. So that is the reason most of the software engineers, so work since they work after 4 years or 5 years or after 10 years, so they have certain problems either with the eyes or with the back pain, or some mental stress will be there. So because they sit continuously in front of the computer, so whole day. So imagine what is going to happen if you sit in front of the computer for so many years. So right, it is going to have effect on your health. So right, third one is computer failure. So that is the failures in computers may be due to the errors in the hardware or software. So hardware errors are rare and they can be solved easily and quickly, but the software errors are, they are very serious and they can stop the entire process, and easily we cannot identify the software errors. But hardware errors, as we can see through our bare eyes, easily we can identify and we can replace the hardware part and we can start the computer. But if there is a software failure or software error in the computer, so that is what it is very difficult to identify the error, and it may take more time. Right. Next, we are going to discuss explain the role of engineers as managers, or explain the characteristics of engineers as managers. Both the questions are same, so the answer will remain same for both the question. So the question may be asked for 5 marks and or 10 marks. So far it is repeated twice in the exam. Again, depending on the marks, you write the points here. For 5 marks, so 4 to 5 points are enough, and for 10 marks, so 7 to 8 points are enough. So as we already know, the engineering is the most important and learned profession. So the services provided by the engineers requires honesty, impartiality, fairness and equality, and must be dedicated to the protection of the public health, safety and welfare. So engineering has a direct and vital impact on the quality of life for all the people here. So there are certain characteristics or roles of engineers as manager. So first one is resolving conflicts by developing mutual understanding and generating various alternative solutions to problems. Second, they have ethical responsibility to produce safe and good products while showing respect for the human beings, who include the employees, customers and public. Third one, a good manager must have the ability to communicate the objective of the project to their team. Fourth one, managers need to provide clear and concise instructions to ensure that all team members are working towards the same goal with the aim of completing it on time and within budget. Fifth one, managers must be aware that not every type of person absorb information in the same way. Sixth one is manager has the ability to keep cool when the going gets tough and managing the time efficiency. That is what one of the most important characteristics of a manager, that he has to keep his mind always cool, because it is not so easy to keep the mind cool all the time. But as a manager, he has to cultivate the habit of keeping his mind cool, because there are so many times, hard times will come, so that there will be a pressure from the board of management or from the higher authority. So instead of that, he has to keep his mind cool always. So next question is, describe briefly on code of ethics. So this is basically, it is asked for 5 marks. So we can define code of ethics as it is a set of principles and rules used by the companies, professional organizations, and individuals in understanding the difference between right and wrong, and in applying that understanding to their decision. So the code of ethics is based on broad principles of truth, honesty, justice, trustworthiness, respect, and safeguard of human life and welfare. So every corporate member of the institution must recognize, uphold, and abide by. Next question, explain the code of ethics followed in institution of engineers. So this is maybe asked for 5 marks or 10 marks, and this has appeared once in the semester end exam. So as already we have seen what is code of ethics, so now we are going to discuss what are the code of ethics followed in institution of engineers. First one is, the corporate member of the institution of engineer shall maintain honor, integrity, and dignity in all his professional actions. Second, he shall act only in the domains of his competence with diligence, care, sincerity, and honesty. Third, he shall apply his knowledge and experience in the interest of his employer or the clients. Fourth, he shall not falsify or misrepresent his own or his associates' qualification, experience, etc. Fifth one, he shall maintain honesty and fairness in making judgments on the basis of his adequate knowledge. Sixth, he shall not directly or indirectly injure the professional reputation of another member. Seventh, he shall reject any kind of offer that may involve unfair practice or may cause avoidable damage to the ecosystem. So next, same thing, that is code of ethics of Indian Institute of Material Management. So again, the different institute, they have got different code of ethics here. So in the previous slide we have seen the code of ethics for Institution of Engineers. Here we are going to discuss the code of ethics for Indian Institute of Management. So the question may be asked for 5 marks. So first code of ethics is to consider first the total interest of one's organization in all transactions without impairing the dignity and responsibility of one's office. Second, to buy without prejudice, seeking to obtain the maximum ultimate value for each rupee of expenditure. Third one, to subscribe and work for honesty and truth in buying and selling. Fourth, to denounce all forms of manifestations of commercial bribery and to stop antisocial practices. Fifth one, to respect one's obligations and those of one's organization consistent with good business practice.